front of the Israeli School, Universal Practical Knowledge, the Philadelphia Division, here at 3226 Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia. We're standing in front of the school right now, getting a description of the 12 tribe sign that's been painted by one of the brothers that was in the school: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom. Shalom. You've been waiting for this day, so this day has finally come. A lot of you have been wondering where this knowledge that you've been hearing is coming from, and the powerful truth that you've been hearing, how this was established. Well, we finally were able to arrange for the priests to come down from New York and spend some time with us. And I'd like to introduce them if I can. These are some great brothers. We're very glad to have them with us. We want to make them feel as warm as possible, because this is their work and the extension of their work and what they've laid down some time ago. I'd like to introduce, first of all, priest and Sixth Shield General, fourth in command in the nation of Israel, Lahab. I'd like to salute this brother, Majo. Barak. Yeshabium, which means sit. And I'm going to turn it over now to Priest General Lahab.
Water, brother. I'd like to say this, starting off, we're very impressed at your school here, and we're very impressed to see that the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia think enough of the Most High and the Bible and the truth and your nationality to be a part of this, because most of the brothers and sisters are running from the truth.
All right, shalom. Yahba Shemel Shabrak Thumb to the brothers. Yahba Shemal Thumb Shemel shout out the sisters. Salakia, we are running a little late. StreamYard was having some technical difficulties, but we're going to get into it. What's going on, Ahabawan?
Yeah, but Shemel Shabrak, sir, what's going on with you?
Yahba Shemel Shabrak, everything to wild, priest. We got a good class today. Part of the reason I wanted to get into this, because you can never, put down Christianity enough. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that'll be a good verse we could start off in. So, like, I'll just paraphrase it. When you read through the book of Revelations, the Christian church used to talk about, the mark of the beast so goddamn much. Like, it was the most evil and wicked thing in the world, which it is, but not understanding that the Christian church is the mark of the beast.
If I may,
telling you, yeah, go ahead.
Remember the mark of the beast first? It was tattoos, then it was microchips,
Right.
then it was cell phones, then it was, it keep changing in the Christian church what the mark of the beast is. Nobody has actually sat down and explained to Christians except the ISUPK, what the mark of the beast is, right? So, to be real quick, I'm gonna tell you what the mark of the beast is. It ain't the chip in your phone. It ain't the 3 6s that you see when you go to the cash register and you buy something and you see 3 6s pop up. It ain't that, right? It's how you think and what you do, to make it real simple.
Yeah.
How you think and what you do, right? Understand, if you got the mark of the beast, you're gonna think, right? You're gonna think like the devil, and you're gonna act like the devil, and you're gonna do things as these devils would do.
Yeah.
Right? Killing your brother. That's what these devils would do, right? Sleeping with your brother's wife. That's what these devils would do, right? And if you do those things, nigga, you got the mark of the beast.
Wow. That's it, plain and simple.
That's simple.
And yeah, I mean, you could check out if you check out ISUPK Hollywood Israelites. They got a whole breakdown on the Book of Revelations. If you want to, get into studying and understanding the mark of the beast better, they got some great breakdowns there on their channel, ISUPK Hollywood Israelites. Check out their YouTube channel. That'll break it all the way down. You know what I mean? But again, as a Habawan said, for simplicity, you know what I mean? It's really just that, doing the work, you know what I mean? Believing in his system. And when you believe in the system of the beast, which is Rome, the Roman Empire, later on becoming the American Empire, when you do the work of this beast, this monster, you have his mark. You know what I mean? When you believe in the image, it says, and his image of the beast. What's his image? You believe in that white Jesus. That picture that white Jesus has, done so much horrific damage on this earth. And that's exactly what this class is on today. Shoot, I got an article. We can jump right into it. If you got anything else, Abawan.
No, let's go. Let's go.
God. Let's pull up this. Let's pull up this first one. This is an article on Canadian history. This is the. This is from the African American Registry on Canadian history in the Middle Passage.
If I may, sir, I got to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In Canada, do they call them African Canadians, or do they still call them African Americans?
They are lost as hell, Habawan. They don't have a name. You know what I mean?
You understand what I'm saying, right?
I do. You know what I mean? I've very what's the word? Very rarely heard African Canadian. I don't think I can't think of a time where any black man in Canada referred to himself as African Canadian. They usually just use the term black.
Okay.
Maybe when they're trying to be a little more, uppity or sophisticated, they might throw out the term African Canadian. But they don't, which should be scary as hell, Salaki. Should be scary as hell that you're a black man in Canada in 2026. You don't know how to identify yourself. You really don't. You know what I mean? I almost want to say Canada behind, blacks in America, because at least y'all got African American. You know what I mean? Yeah, up here in Canada, we just don't know.
Nigga? Like
yeah, you know what I mean? It's a very sad thing. And again, it's because of this beast. It's because of believing in this beast, believing in his image. There's an excellent question. We just had camp downtown Detroit on Saturday. And Kapadar said, if Christianity was good for us, why don't you know your nationality? That was an excellent question and probably went over every goddamn Christian's head. You know what I mean? Because to the point of what we were just saying, you're black in Canada, you are Christian, and you don't even know your identity. You read in the book of Genesis, goes on to list 18 different nations. 18 different nations and lands that the Most High, gave each land as an inheritance to each nation, divided the nations, set boundaries. You sitting here being a Christian, believing in this book, and you don't even know who you descend from.
Damn right.
And if you do have a belief that you descend from a nation because of the Christian doctrine that was pushed on you through slavery, you may identify as Hamitic, because they taught us that the reason blacks were in slavery was because of the color of our skin. The reason blacks were in slavery was because we were cursed from Ham. They don't even say Canaan was cursed. You know what I mean? They couldn't even read that line right in the Christian church, because from Ham it was just Canaan that was cursed. But these Christians and their religion, being so far removed from the truth of the Bible, they said that black people were cursed and this was the curse of Ham, and we deserve to be in slavery. So some black people today might identify as being Hamitic. And some black people today, they just identify as being Gentiles. You know what I mean? I heard a black man one time say he believed that we were Edomites. Because that was such a sad one, because this black Christian knew from reading the Bible how much God hated Esau. And that black Christian could only rationalize the suffering of black people, that God must hate me.
You should have looked him in the eye, sir, and been like, Cole, you stupid.
I wish I had the wisdom that I had today. You know what I mean? I spoke to that brother a long time ago. You know what I mean? But that was just something I remember, of just realizing how lost we truly are. You know what I mean?
Before we get started, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, double like, triple like. Any questions that you have, we're here. We're answering questions. Anything you want to know, ask us. If we can't get the answer for you, we'll get a man above us to get the answer for you.
Right.
Let's see who we got in the. Got Maria in there. Yahweh Shemarla Thaba Hashem Yahweh Shai. We got Carolyn. We got the usuals. Yahweh Shemarla Thaba Hashem Yahweh Shai. Adawan Mashai in there. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Bakatah, sir. And then Miss Tawanda is in there. Yahweh Shemarla Thaba Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Most High in Christ. Yahweh Hashem Shai Bakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shemarla Thaba Hashem Shai to the sisters. The water for tuning in. All right, so let's get it. We got. I always love how they start these articles. This goes on perfect into the class title. It says Slavery Abolition Act 1833. And I didn't even read this before. I was just looking at it now. And it's always funny how the first thing that white people love to remind us is that they abolished slavery.
We freeze you niggas.
That's the most important thing about our history, is that white people freed us. It says, abolish slavery throughout most of the British Empire. But in practical terms, however, only slaves below the age of 6 were freed, as all slaves over the age of 6 were redesignated as apprentices. We've done classes on this, priest. You know all about this, all about the vagrancy laws. You know what I mean? Damn near had to pay white people reparations because they were losing money and they were owed something from losing their slaves. Insanity. And that's exactly what this is speaking on right here about apprentices. It says apprentices in the UK were trainees but were not free, but were bound to their masters for a fixed number of years, just like slaves. The act also included the right of compensation for slave owners. There's that reparations.
No, everybody got reparations except us.
Yeah, crazy.
Except the slaves. Everybody got reparations everybody get reparations except Black, Native Americans, and Hispanics. Right? Think about this. You bomb Japan, right? America bombed Japan, nuke the Hello Kitty out their ass.
Right.
You see Hello Kitty everywhere. Homosexuality and LGBT run rampant in Japan after them nukes. Like bomb all the masculinity out of them.
Right.
Reparations, right? Israel, America didn't even bomb Israel. America helped the Israelis get away from Hitler.
That's right.
Reparations, right? They don't got to get the Chinese reparations because the Chinese own most of America, right? Most of America debt. So Chinese just sitting back collecting bread.
God.
Right? Think about this: the Chinese own most of America debt, and then they ally with America's enemies. Who they ally with? Russia, Iran, North Korea.
God.
Right? So how can your enemy own you?
Mm-hmm.
Black people, think about it. I just asked the question: how can your enemy own you? But that's what's going on with your black ass right now. Your enemy owns you.
And you know what's crazy? I was listening carefully to what you were saying. All of those atrocities were done in the name of Christianity. I was waiting for you to list one that wasn't. Even the goddamn Holocaust, historians will say that those Nazis, were encouraged through Christianity. You know what I mean? To perform these things.
Yes. All
of these things are done in the name of Christianity. And as I was thinking about it, I'm like, what does a Christian have to do? This was a question on camp as well. What does a Christian have to do to get some goddamn hate? And if you could, Ahabon, grab I think that's Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 9. It should say something about the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Is that Proverbs 8 and 9? Because if you start looking into history and you start looking at all the genocides of people, so many of these atrocities are done in the name of Christianity, which is that beast that Ahabawan was breaking down earlier. Like that beast is a vile thing on this earth.
8 and 13, boss.
8 and 13. Yeah, go ahead and read that.
This is Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
Damn, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. How many evil things has the Christian church done?
Well, let's count. Would you call the PDFs evil?
Evil as hell.
Would you call LGBTQ evil?
Evil as hell.
Would you call rob, kill, steal, murder evil?
All of it.
Oh, okay. Would you call taking advantage of the poor evil?
God damn.
I'm just asking a question. It depends because you know that a lot of people might not call that evil.
That's crazy.
No, dope dealers don't call selling dope evil.
You know
Right.
what? Matter of fact, the Hubble one. What's the first type of evil that verse says?
Pride.
Pride. Are Christians proud?
Would you call being prideful evil? Yeah.
This
The
is
next
one
one
of
is arrogance.
the 8. Arrogance.
Arrogance.
Man, I that's one of the things that bothers me the most when I hear a Christian call a brother in the UPK arrogant. I hear it so many times, and I'm like, you have no idea of the humility of these brothers. What's one of the first things you said in the class, Ahabawan? If I don't have the answer,
Yes.
I will get the answer from a man above me. That is not arrogance.
You know what the Christian gonna tell you to do? Get in the shower and pray.
Oh my God. Keep going. What's the next one?
Pride and arrogance and the evil way and the forward mouth do I hate.
Oh, damn. The forward mouth do I hate. How many things, if you were to ask a Christian, have they ever been wrong or changed their mind about what they believe in about God? Ask a Christian if they've ever taught something about God and have been wrong. Ask a Christian that. Ask a 40-year-old Christian.
Just ask them about the Trinity.
And I want to hear if a Christian has ever changed their stance on the Bible. Because God says the forward mouth. You don't know how to filter or watch your mouth. What's the first thing that you're taught in the ISUPK, boy?
Shut your mouth.
Salakia, after putting on all black.
Shut your mouth.
The second thing, shut your goddamn mouth. Come on, man.
First one is be quiet. The second one is shut your goddamn mouth.
I remember, Salakia, I will give a quick story. I remember becoming an officer of 50. And a brother looked at me and said, all right, brother, now you got a class to teach. And I was like, what the hell? I can't teach. That's what I'm thinking in my head. And he's like, all right, you got this class every Tuesday, brotherhood, go. I was like, God damn. So I'm sitting there studying to make sure that this class is, taught exactly how a man above me would teach it. I'm sitting there trying to word for word say what a man above me was teaching. And then I remember, because there was this app called Clubhouse. I remember jumping on Clubhouse one time, and I got on stage and was talking to somebody, and somebody was like, preach, shut your damn mouth. And I'm sitting there confused as hell because I'm like, Salaki, I thought y'all wanted me to teach that. And they're like, all right, shut your mouth.
Hey, look.
And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, there's levels to this shit. Yeah. And it's like, even now, you know what I mean, as I'm a little more seasoned, you know what I mean, still a young brother, I understand there's somebody with more wisdom beside me. I ain't got nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shut my mouth because I don't have a forward mouth. I've learned to, what does the scripture say, to bridle your tongue?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I learned, sir, that
Christians do not have that.
I'm happy when a brother over me take over the class or take over the speaker or whatever.
Right?
Thank you. The water.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? These are all things that the Lord hates. Murderers, thieves, forward mouth, prideful, arrogance. All these are the definition of Christians. It's the literal definition of a Christian. And I dare somebody to prove me wrong. You know what I mean? So back to that point, everything you listed, Ahabawan, although who bombed Japan? Christians.
Christians.
You know what I mean? Like everything you listed, Ahabawan, this is done in the name of Christianity. I remember watching, and I'll say last point, I remember watching this Russian woman in an interview. as they're going to war against Ukraine, and she's on the goddamn news interview praying to God to destroy her enemies. And I'm sitting there watching it like, this is the perfect Christian right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know
If
what
I
I mean?
may, sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
can you name me a country that has dropped a bomb on itself?
I can't,
America.
but I might go further to say black people aren't really Americans. They just
Understand that, but what other country has dropped a bomb on themselves to get rid of people that live in their country?
that's right. The good old Christian Americans. Yeah, I mean that's exactly
Look,
who they are. Shout out,
see, Nina said it.
yeah. Nina said it. That's crazy.
The U.S. of A.
Dropped
dropped
a
a
whole
bomb on
bomb.
themselves. The row houses, right? Tulsa, Oklahoma, not just one, multiple bombs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about the Black Panther Party?
Yes, that's the row houses in
Down
Philly.
in Chicago, was it? Was it Philly?
Philly, yep. The row houses in Philly dropped a bomb on themselves, right? I've never heard of Iran dropping a bomb on itself. Japan, Korea, or North Korea, and they crazy as hell. Russia.
I'm gonna give one more point and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a microchip harm somebody?
Mm. I've never really seen a gun harm somebody. Guns don't kill people. You look, I got a gun. I got a firearm right now. My firearm has been sitting in the same spot. It ain't killed nobody.
God.
It ain't killed nobody, right? Now, with me living alone, I can leave it, where I can attain it quickly. If I had some children in the house, it would be locked up a little differently.
Right.
But mine is right now is for quick grab, just in case. But that gun it ain't harm nobody. It ain't said it wanted to harm nobody. It ain't wrote me no manifesto or nothing like that. It just sit there and do nothing.
Right.
Right. But when you put the firearms in the hands of one of these oppressors, you have mass shootings.
God.
You have mass shootings. What about the dude in Mandalay Bay who dropped like 50 people in Vegas?
Oh yeah.
Hotel room at the concert.
Look, mass shooters, slacking. Mass shooters are a whole other thing. You know what I mean? But,
hold on, let's see. We got a comment. Let's see what we got here. Multiple and a black community, Tulsa, Oklahoma, St. Louis, Arch, Black Wall Street, amongst a few, for sure. For sure. Those are all areas that so-called Christian Americans drop bombs on inside this Christianized America.
sure.
America.
That's it. The Christian church ain't the mark of the beast. Almost gonna have to show me something more evil than the Christian church.
I would say the Catholic Church, but they cousins.
They Christian.
They all Christian.
They Christian. And I got something that we'll read that as we go through it because
Boys, but ain't safe in the Catholic Church.
God. Okay, let me keep going on this. It says, this is Oliver Lejeune. It says the Canadian slavery of Africans is affirmed on this date, circa 1600. We begin with the registered baptism of Oliver Lejeune, which occurred on this date in 1633 in Quebec. You know the beginning of slavery in Canada for a black man was becoming baptized.
Getting washed up. We got to clean you before we can enslave you. Sir, if I may, not the sidestep.
No, go ahead.
But Nina just said something. She said something that's more evil than the Christian church is what the Christian church hides. Ooh.
I hear you, sis. I hear you. You know what I mean? And Lord, allow some of this information that we bring out today can help, free the mind of our people. I mean, what's the title of the class? It says, if blacks and Hispanics aren't slaves, why do we still accept a slaveholder's religion? Like, we got to understand the first thing for a black man in Canada as a slave was to be baptized. That was the first thing. And we as a people should, we should be a little bit more mindful and a little more, inquisitive to ask, why was baptism so important? It says, the Middle Passage and its British involvement preceded this Canadian baptism. This was the first official registration of Canadian slavery. Lejeune was the first recorded slave purchased in Canada. This Negro boy belonged to Guillaume Coulard, a French seaman and carpenter. Olivier was from Madagascar and believed to have been less than 8 years of age in 1629, when British commander David Kirke brought him to Quebec in New France shortly after his arrival. The boy was sold to Olivier Le Belif, a French clerk for Britain. I'm going to jump down. It says, by 1688, New France's population was over 11,000 people, made up primarily of fur traders, missionaries, and farmers settled along the St. Lawrence Valley. To help overcome its severe shortage of servants and laborers, King Louis XIV granted New France permission to import black slaves from West Africa. While slavery was prohibited in France, it was permitted in its colonies to provide the labor force needed to clear land, construct buildings, and work sugar plantations. Code Noir defined the control. Now, Code Noir, if you don't know, Code Noir is another word for black codes. All right, Code Noir is just French for black. Black code. Noir is black.
So, sir, you would know better than me, because that over here in the States, we would announce that Nior. But it's a French word. So noir?
Yeah, I don't have the what's it called? The forget that word is. When you live in a different part of the country, pronunciation.
Okay.
I don't have the correct
enunciation.
Yeah, like the pronunciation of the word, but it's close to noir. Noir. Okay. I don't know how to elongate that N or whatever. But that noir means black.
Understood.
Yeah. And that code is what defined the control. All right. You look up what those black codes were, specifically in the French colonies. One of the first things was forced baptism. Now, to people who don't know or understand that Christianity is the mark of the beast, you might overlook something like forced baptism because we've been taught that baptism is a good thing. We've been taught to be Christians. We don't think of getting dipped in water as some kind of evil thing. But yet, what did these people do to us? We should probably look in some of those black codes. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can pull that up really quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do real quick. I'm gonna pull a few up. So
Yeah, if you look up the code noir. Code NOIR. These were issued by King Louis XIV because this is what governed slavery inside of Canada.
I got a couple of them. You ready, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Code Noir was a 1685 decree by King Louis the 14th of France that defined the conditions of slavery in the French colonial empire.
It
classified
defined the conditions of slavery in the French Empire, meaning this is how you treated slaves. This is how you interacted with slaves inside of the country. Keep going.
It classified enslaved human beings as movable property, mandated Catholicism for all slaves.
Now pause there because this is what's important. You have Europeans living in a country with black people, and these codes define how you interact with them. And the two first things that you just listed was to understand that they're property. And what was the next one?
Mandated Catholicism for all slaves.
Mandated Catholicism. You want to know how white people interacted with blacks inside of slavery? Number one, you were not a human being. You were property. You were an item, an object, like your wallet, your cell phone, your property, a vehicle, your shoes. If you were black inside of one of these slave colonies, you were property. And the second thing was that you had to become Christian. Why is that so important? Because how many times in reading through and learning about history do we learn that, okay, black people, we were chattel slavery. We did free labor. That's the main point that they focus on in the schools or Black History Month, is it not?
Yes, sir.
That's what they teach us, that slavery was free labor. And in order for them to, interact with you in a society, you couldn't be looked at as a human being. You had to be looked at like a machine that makes money. You were property. The second thing, which would go over so many people's heads, you know what I mean, who don't truly understand the mark of the beast, is that you had to be Christian. Why was that so important?
Well, the reason why it was so important is because now, if I control the image of what your Lord and Savior look like, if I control the image of what your God looks like, right? If I control the image of what your angels look like, then I can control what you believe is right and wrong, who is truth and who is honest and who's not, right? If you look at there was a study done with baby dolls. They had a black baby doll and a white baby doll, and they would ask these children which one was good, which one was bad, which one was smart and which one was dumb, right? So now, if you can control the narrative of what I think a black person, a black man, a black woman, is or should look like or should perform or how they're at, then I can control the narrative of what you think about your own people.
Sure.
Right? I can immediately turn every single black man into an Uncle Ruckus.
That's right.
Right? What's the sister that's all over the news and stuff like that hate black people? The politics. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking about. What's her name? Oh, Williams. Candace.
Candace Williams.
Yeah,
I
Candace.
mean, I can turn every sister into a Candace Williams and turn every brother into an Uncle Ruckus, right? And then I can marry these two ideologies and raise up children to Uncle Ruckus and Karen. Is it Karen? Candace Owens. Yeah, Candace Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a child raised up under Ruckus and Owens. That's a little diabolical, self-hating individual.
Look, man, there are studies, and this might need to be a whole other class, but right on this topic, there's social studies on second generation Christians, third generation Christians, fourth generation Christians. You have to understand that. Shoot, you look at the Hispanic colonies to this day. The Spanish colonies are almost damn near 65% of the people are Catholic. This is a whole generational process of forced Christianity put down our throats.
Yes, sir.
Something General Muhammad says that sticks with me. I'll never forget this. This quote: "Oppression worked. It worked. Colonization happened. It worked. You had indigenous people in residential schools. They were forced to assimilate. Mm-hmm. They became Christian. They had their language beaten out of us. Black man, that brother we were just reading about. We're gonna read some more on him. He came to Canada. What's the first thing he did? He was baptized into a different religion, meaning a different way of life, a different culture. That was the first thing that they had to do to this brother. Now, what do you think he teaches his child? He might teach his child, but just pretend to be Christian. These people evil as hell. And then that brother might teach his children. He might not teach them that same lesson. He might grow up thinking, hey, this is what we do. We just go to the church every Sunday and sing and dance. And this is a way for us to escape all the hard bondage that we've gone through for this week. Just to have an hour of some, peace where we can dance and be left alone. He might grow up with that memory of, yeah, I know slavery was terrible, but after watching these women get, sexually assaulted for the week, you know what I mean? All the brothers they're watching getting lashes and this and that, they get a little solace to just sing to their God on a Sunday.
After getting your ass whooped all week, sing to, look at this, sir. You get beat by the oppressor all week, right? Then you get to go to church on Sunday, right? Not only do you get to go to church on Sunday, you get to go to church on Sunday and worship your oppressor's God.
Right.
And then you get to leave church on Sunday and go to the football game and stand up with your hand over the heart and pledge allegiance to the flag and sing the Star Spangled Banner. Right. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm the oppressor, I got it made. Right. You know what I do? I back off just a little bit, ease up just a little bit, so they don't want to come out of slavery.
Wow.
But this individual decided to put hard bondage on us. They wanted to put hard bondage on us. Ain't that the same thing that happened in Egypt? The same thing that's happening in America today is happening to us in Egypt, right? And when they decided to put the hard bondage on us, guess what happened when they put the hard bondage on us? It's like, well, you know what? This is a little bit tough. Maybe we should get up out of here. Maybe we should figure out who our God is, right? See, if I was the oppressor, I'd ease off just a little bit so you think you got a little bit of comfort.
That's right.
Right now, you got to, you happy because you got 2.5 days off instead of 1, right? Oh, I got a great oppressor. I know. You love me, don't you? Now you don't want to escape slavery. Harriet Tubman said it best. She said that she freed hundreds of slaves.
Ooh-wee.
could have freed hundreds more if they knew they were slaves.
Yeah.
Only if they knew they were slaves. I got some more of that black code, that code Muir too.
No, we can drop that. I'm gonna share. Let me share this clip real quick. We'll put us on the right side. Oh, we're good now. We got that QR code off the screen. I'm gonna share this real quick. YouTube, please leave us alone. We do not own the rights to this video. All right, you do not need to remove this. This is not our video. All right, this is only sharing this for teaching class, teaching
educational purposes only.
There you go.
Inside Washington's Museum of the Bible, a single volume that is like no other, the so-called Slave Bible, remarkable not for what's in it, but for what's not.
So about 90% of the Old Testament.
This Bible is known. Yeah, this Bible is known. Don't forget this. Don't miss this. This Bible is known for not what is in it, but what is missing from it. All right, that's very important.
If I may, sir.
That's been removed.
Go ahead.
If I may. Now, what I would like to do is go to, I'm trying to find a scripture in Revelations where it speaks about taking out, it's in the last chapter of Revelations.
Yep.
If you add to or take away from this book.
Okay.
Right, I'm gonna find it. Please continue, sir.
There's another good one. Not to diminish any words. It's in the book of Deuteronomy. Because the one in Revelation is speaking on, some of the plagues. Grab Deuteronomy 4 and verse 2.
You want that right now?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 2.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 2.
Now, and just for teaching purposes, this is saying damn near the same thing in Revelations. The one in Revelations 22 is just letting you know the punishment for doing this. All right? The one here in Deuteronomy is telling you a law, a commandment, something not to do. Go ahead and read that.
Revelation chapter 4 and verse 2. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you.
Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you. Meaning all the laws, everything that God told us to do and not to do in the Bible, God said, don't add anything to it. You know what I mean? You're out here telling people that they can't have sex on the Sabbath. That is nowhere in the Bible. You are adding to the Bible. God said, do not do that. Keep reading.
Neither shall ye diminish aught from it.
Neither diminish anything from it. You know what I mean? That's why what Christ said was so heavy. Not one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. Do not remove anything. Don't remove a period. You know what I mean? Don't change nothing.
You know why, sir? Because if you remove a period or a comma, it changes the meaning of the sentence.
That's right.
Right? So that's why I say not one jot, not one tittle.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And what did our oppressor do? They gave us a book where they diminished. They diminished over what? 45 books in the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
And then different pages and the book of Revelations in the New Testament.
Even in the modern King James, sir, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
They eliminated the entire Apocrypha. You know what? They didn't want to see those up. They didn't want to see those individuals fight not to eat pork, not to eat those unclean things that the Lord said was unclean. They didn't want you. They don't want you to see that in your Bible. Right. That's why it was removed. They don't want you to see the woman with the 7 sons who was willing to allow every single one of her sons to die, then neither one of them break the commandment of the Lord. They don't want you to see that. They don't want to see how powerful and how strong that will build. That right there will build the nation. Because after you see, and you the youngest brother, You've seen 6 of your brothers die of a horrible death because they don't want to eat pork or they don't want to do anything that goes against the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. And then you step yourself right on and look, throw me in there. Wow. My brother's in there, throw me in there. Right. Wow. They don't want you to see, because if you understand that you don't only live once, right? If you understand that you come back, you would try to create. Think about this. If you understood you come back, right, in your same family, you will be forced to create generational wealth. Right? So now, in order for me to come back with some money, I got to create generational wealth. Wow. Right? In order for me to come back, not with, some type of issue, I got to make sure I follow these laws, statutes, and commandments in this life.
That's right. And, for teaching purposes, how this looks today, like what you said earlier, Habawan, which is so heavy, is once I get a people to believe a certain thing, then I no longer have to keep doing what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I've already done my job. You know what all Christians say today? Oh, that's the Old Testament. Show me a verse in the New Testament. That's the old ways. We don't have to read the Old Testament. Christ came and did something different. What do you do? You are a slave. you are following the teachings of this slave Bible. You're following the teachings of your oppressor.
If Christ came back, if Christ came to this planet, to the earth, right, was born on this earth, and he started to teach the Old Testament, why do you think about what Christ taught? Where did he teach from? He taught from the Old Testament, right? So how can you say that was the Old Testament when that's what, and you believe in Christ, when that's what Christ taught, the Old Testament, right? He quoted the Old Testament over and over and over again. So if he quoted the Old Testament over and over and over again, what makes you think the Old Testament is done away with? And then he said, I did not come to do away with the laws or the prophets, paraphrasing. Yeah. So how can you say that the Old Testament is done away with?
Because they are still a slave.
Because you're reading that slave Bible. And in the Christian church to this day, it's that prosperity teaching, that's the slave Bible. That's the slave Bible. They got the entire Bible in front of them, and they still only read parts that the master has given them to read. Some churches can't even teach outside of that because of their non-profit code. But we won't get into that right now. I don't want to tell on nobody.
Heavy points.
And about 50% of the New Testament's been removed. To put it,
50% of the New Testament was removed. I thought Christians loved the whole New Testament. They do not. I learned. You know what Christians? Let me tell you what Christians don't believe in the New Testament. They don't believe anything that Christ said. And they don't believe the book of Revelations. If there's a quote from Christ, Christians do not believe it.
You know what? If I was the oppressor, I wouldn't believe the book of Revelations either. The book of Revelation says you're going into slavery, right? It says, do unto them double upon double, right? That's what they did to you, paraphrasing. If I was the oppressor, I wouldn't believe the Revelations either. Because everything in Revelations is the destruction of their heaven.
Yep. If you could find a quick article on the reason that they removed, the reason for removing different parts in the Bible was because slave owners feared that it would cause slaves to rebel. See if you can pull that up really quick. You might see stuff on like Nat Turner. Just see if you can find a quick article on that, because it will explain why, your oppressor remove these books from the Bible. Okay, it was done purposefully. And just let me know when you got that, One.
Another way, a normal King James Version has 1,189 chapters in it. The Slave Bible has only 232.
Missing are chapters and verses that might have encouraged uprisings. Book of
Ooh-wee. It
says it right there.
Yeah, it says it right here, One.
So you want me to hold off?
Yeah, if you didn't find it,
yeah,
if you didn't find it, don't sweat it, because it says it right here. Because this is the reason. They're telling you the reason why they removed his books.
Now, if I may, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nat Turner, right? Remember when Nat Turner started off? Nat Turner started off as the slave that could read, and he started to teach the Bible. With the slave that can read and he's teaching the Bible, the reason why he rose up against the slave owners, the slave masters, is because of him reading the Bible.
That's right.
Right. So that's 100% true. What this Edomite is saying is that because they didn't want uprising amongst the slaves, because if you see this uprising, if you see what happened in Exodus, if you see what happened with the Maccabees, if you see what happened in different scriptures, in Kings, you see what happened with David and Goliath, you understand that you could take down that mighty, big, strong oppressor, right? Just by following the law, statutes, and commandments of God, just having faith in God, you could take down any barrier, right? And with understanding, you can take down any barrier just having the faith and following these laws, statutes, and commandments. Right. Then I don't want my slaves to know that they can take me out because they following their God. I don't want them to know that. Think about this in the what was that said in the Apocrypha when he said that if they sin against their God, go ahead and attack them. But if they following their God's laws, leave them alone because their God gonna help them.
Heavy, yeah.
You see, so no, I don't want I don't want to attack a people that's following the Most High, and the Most High, is helping them. Because then think about this: what did the Hebrews do when they ran from when they fled from Egypt? They didn't turn around and fight. They left, and they kept going, and the earth, the ocean, the sea, swallowed up their attackers. Right? They didn't do nothing. The sea swallowed up their attackers. When Moses came down off the mountain, and Moses was had the people fighting against them, they didn't go ahead and fight their own people. The earth swallowed them up. The hole opened up in the earth and swallowed them up.
Wow.
TD Jakes them. Swallowed. Right.
Yeah. See, grab the book of Revelations, chapter 15 and verse 2.
God.
You know what I mean? There's a sister in the chat. She asked Sly, you can answer this question, priest. I believe that's your rib. She says, does anyone know what's missing?
As far as,
I believe she's asking what's missing from the Bible, the slave Bible.
Well, what's missing from the slave Bible is the entire Apocrypha, Exodus. There's multiple scriptures that speak about us rising up against our oppressor and following God and allow the Most High to fight our battles. Those things are missing from the scriptures. Right. With those things being missing from the scriptures, right, what it did was it eliminated and reduced the amount of revolutions that would have happened during slavery. Because understand this, even though we were in slavery, we didn't want to be there. We knew it was wrong.
Sure.
Right? We knew we didn't want to be under this oppressor because he was cruel and unruly.
Yeah.
So with us not wanting to be under this cruel and unruly oppressor, he didn't want us to He wants us to be good Christians. And the good Christians would say, as scriptures in the slave Bible that say, slaves obey your masters, right? And with them not understanding what that scripture meant by slaves obey your masters, right? So they took it as, they taught it, the slave owners taught it as, my slaves must obey me if they want to get into the kingdom of heaven. And then the slaves learned it like, hey, if I don't obey my master, if I go out here and drop some eggs, if I go out here and don't tend to his sheep, then I'm not obeying my master. And with me not obeying my master, I'm not going to make it to the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
So that was the mindset of the slave.
That's right.
That was that right here. Well, we got another comment. What's this next one, sir? It says, formerly titled selected part of the Holy Bible for the use of Negro slaves in British India Islands. It was actually printed in London at 1807, while produced by Britain clergy for colonies like Jamaica, Barbados. Copies made their way to the United States were the same pro-slavery theology and tactics that was practiced widely. Exactly.
That's exactly it.
Yep.
Stop. You understand, like that was an actual printed book.
Yes.
This book was printed.
It was a little orange book.
That's right.
Remember that little orange book? Mm-hmm. That was your Bible. Nina, you remember getting them little orange books?
That's heavy. Said stop rebellion and thoughts of freedom. That's heavy. Mm-hmm. Because, what I'm going to show you in this verse right here is an idea of what slave owners were afraid of. They removed the book of Revelations
in its entirety.
Go ahead and read that verse.
You want a 15 and 2?
Yeah, start at verse 2.
Revelation chapter 15 and verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire.
So this is John. You know, he was given a bunch of different visions that he saw. You know what I mean? These were just dreams, okay? They weren't literal. So he's seeing this dream of something that looked like a sea of glass mingled with fire. Keep going.
And them that had gotten the victory over the beast.
And there's a large group of people that were victorious over the beast. Who is the beast? Rome, the Roman Empire, America, Babylon. Keep reading.
And over his image.
And over his image. You had brothers who saw that picture of that white Jesus, and they were like, this is not my God. This is not my king.
They must have been UPK niggas.
This is UPK right here.
These UPK niggas. And over his mark.
And over his mark, meaning they didn't do the work of this beast. You know what I mean? A mark is, picture like being branded. Like they always use that saying of farmers who used to brand their cows. It just showed ownership of something. So these brothers got over that mark, meaning Christianity didn't own them. America, Rome, these Europeans, they didn't own these group of men. Keep going.
And over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name.
And they understood that there was a, certain number of men. What's something we say in the UPK all the time? I don't have any personal beef with a white man. I grew up, these white boys didn't do nothing to me. But there are white men who are in charge that oppress my people.
Yes, sir.
Those are the men that we recognize as destroying us. Keep going.
And over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass.
So they're standing on this sea of glass. Keep going.
Having the harp of God.
They have the harps of God. A harp is a guitar. Okay? So they got these guitars, these musical instruments. Keep reading.
And they sing the song of Moses,
and
the
they
servant of God.
sing the song of Moses. You understand what the song of Moses is? One, grab Exodus chapter 15. Let's start at verse 1. Like, this Bible could not have the book of Revelations in it. Because the real saints of God, the real people who follow Christ, they're going to be singing at being victorious over this beast. And they're singing the song of Moses. Go ahead and read that, One.
This is Exodus chapter 15 and 1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel the song unto the Lord.
This is the song of Moses right here. Keep going.
And spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider has he thrown into the sea.
Ooh-wee. These brothers are singing that the Most High has triumphed and destroyed the army of Egypt. Keep going.
Wait. Before we go any farther,
Yep.
Understand, this is the first time you've learned this. Your Christian church don't teach you this. They don't teach you this part of the Bible. You know why? Because they teach you the slave Bible.
That's right.
Right? They still teach you the slave Bible. If you want to learn the truth behind this Bible, get into these ISUBK classes, y'all. We teach them every single day, right? It's somebody somewhere in the ISUBK teaching. And don't fall for them fake Israelites. They still Christian.
That's right.
Right? If they got some fringes on the bottom of their penny drawers or their t-shirts, you know, don't, if you see a man walking around here with a mini skirt on and fringes on the bottom of it, don't listen to him. Immediately know that somebody, think about this. You got fringes decorated from the bottom of your t-shirt. Your t-shirt usually hang about your butt crack. Mm-hmm. Why would you like another man to look at your butt? Unless you like men's looking at butts. But I'll leave it at that.
Look, if they are not singing the song of Moses, do not trust them.
Do not trust them.
Look, the only people I know that sing the song of Moses is the brothers in the ISUPK.
Ain't no cowards in this camp, y'all. Come on.
Hell no. Keep going.
Verse 2. The Lord is my strength and song.
Right.
And he is become my salvation.
He is my salvation, because God is going to save us out of this captivity, just like he did in Egypt. Keep going.
And I will prepare him a habitation.
I will prepare him a land, a place to live. Black people, you don't have no inheritance in America. You don't have no land that you pass on to your children. You don't have generational wealth. You don't have anything in this place. But when the Lord saves us, we're going to gain an inheritance. Keep going.
My father's God, and I will exalt him.
Keep going.
The Lord is a man of war.
Lord is a man of war. What are they teaching their Christian church? God loves everybody.
You can't love everybody and be a man of war.
You cannot.
Right? Did when the what's that? The SEAL Team 6, when they went over there to get Bin Laden, did they love everybody? No, they didn't. As a matter of fact, they killed all his men and they shot one of his wives.
That's right.
You know a cat hates you when he shoots your wife.
Right. Look, we said at the beginning, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. You have to hate evil. Mm-hmm. You have to hate Christianity. You have to hate pedophilia. You have to child molestation, child trafficking, sex trafficking. You know what I mean? You have to hate the molestation of little girls. Even in the drug dealers. What was that?
I said, even in Ecclesiastes, it said there's a time to love and there's a time to hate.
That's right.
Right, Christians. What you got to understand is it ain't all about love all the time. Right. Understand, your problem is you don't know who your enemies are.
That's right.
If you don't know who your enemies are, go to Deuteronomy 28:68. It'll tell you exactly who your enemies are.
Look, man, there's a 29-year-old sister who just got hung from a tree.
In Miami? During Juneteenth.
That might have been no.
Yes.
Just read. This happened last week, I believe.
Oh, in the backyard.
Yep. And they did when they finished the autopsy, they said they didn't see any foul play. Yet the sister was not tall enough to reach the own fucking branch. She couldn't stand on a chair and reach the branch that she was found hung on.
Yes, they strung her up so high. Think about this. They strung her up so high that her feet could not touch a table, a chair, a ladder, right? None of that. But they strung her up that high.
Right, but she hung herself.
Look, now
man,
understand, black folks don't usually hang themselves out in public.
What was that?
I said when black people commit suicide, right? One is that we're not the people that's known to commit suicide. We got that from our oppressor.
That's
right. But when we do perform these acts, we don't do it in public.
That's right.
Think about this. Any individual that you know to unalive themselves has done it in privacy and in secrecy because it's a shameful thing for us to do.
Right.
We don't do it in public. Right. Even when somebody is to take a firearm to themselves, right? If somebody was to cut their wrists, if somebody was to take some pills, right? And in our family, in my family, I've had 2 individuals unalive themselves, right? And by hanging, and it's done inside their own closets. It's not done. We don't do that type of stuff. We don't unalive ourselves in public. We don't go out and set ourselves on fire and run through the damn city.
Right.
We don't do that. Right. Think about this. Black people don't even. When is the last time you heard about a black person doing suicide by cop? You don't hear about it. Right. Now, that oppressor, he'd go out there with 4-5 firearms on him and raise that firearm up towards a police officer or multiple police officers and get riddled with bullets.
Right. Yep. That's heavy.
Let me continue this, sir.
Yeah, our enemies are right in front of us.
Yes, sir.
Keep reading.
Verse 3, the Lord is a man of war.
Right.
The Lord is his name. Verse 4, Pharaoh's chariot and his host has he cast into the sea.
Ooh, could you imagine singing about the president of the United States being cast in the sea? The King of America being cast in the sea. Keep reading.
His chosen captains His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea.
Right. His army is drowned. His army is destroyed. Keep going.
Verse 5. The depth has covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone.
Man, now this in Moses' song, he's thinking about the victory and how this army died, how they were unalive, drowning in the sea. He's recalling them drowning in the sea. That's poetry. That imagine a brother making a song about this.
This ain't in your slave Bible.
Keep going.
Verse 6. The right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in power.
That right hand has become glorious in power, meaning that, what's your right hand? That represents strength. And that power was used to destroy our enemy, to destroy the people that had us enslaved. Keep going.
Thy right hand, O Lord, has dashed in pieces the enemy.
Man, you dashed in pieces the enemy. That's the song of Moses. You keep reading on that chapter. This song is glorious. And that's what the saints are singing. That's what the saints are looking forward to.
If I may, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
This song is representative of what happened, reason why we celebrate Passover.
That's right. Look, Moses ordered us. Moses commanded us to keep the Passover, to remember what God did to the Egyptians. Man, these devils had to remove, all these books from the Bible. There's no way you can read the Old Testament, the book of Revelations, and just sit here and say God loves everybody. You cannot read the whole book from beginning to end without being indoctrinated and come to the conclusion that God loves everybody. You're not going to find Christianity in this book. You're going to find the Lord is a man of war. You're going to read about, the Song of Moses. You're going to read about David saying, happy shall he be that dashes the little one against the stones.
If I may, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, just for some Christian rhetoric, Christians might say, well, that's just talking about one nation. Can we go to Psalms 83?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, because Christians might say that's just one nation. That was just the Egyptians, right? That was just the Egyptians that he took out during that time, right? Now the Psalms, let's go to Psalms 83, start at 1. It says, keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. Now the reason why I brought this up, because it's going to say who the enemies are.
That's right.
It's going to say who the enemies are, because I don't want you to think that the enemies is just those Egyptians that died out in the Red Sea. Because if you look in the Deuteronomy 28 and 68, it says you will be sold into your enemies. So that's a whole nother set of enemies. Now here is another list of enemies, right? Let me see. It says there, I'm going to jump down, right?
Yep.
It says they have taken crafty, this is verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, right? Then I'm going to jump down, right? It says, I'm going to jump down to the middle of 5. It says they are confederate against thee. Here you go. Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom. Who are the Edom? Those are Edomites. Yep. And the Ishmaelites. Who are the Ishmaelites? Those are Arabs. Of Moab. Who is Moab? The Chinese. Yep. And the Hagarenes. Right? Those are some different Africans. Gabal is, I believe, I'm not sure who Gabal is.
I think Gabal is another Edomite nation.
It's another, I know it's definitely another Edomite nation. And Ammon, who is Ammon? The Japanese.
Yep.
And the Amalekite, who are the Amalekite? The fake Ashkenazi Israelis.
Yep.
Right? The Philistines, who are the Philistines? Africans.
That's right.
Right? So understand is that, and then it goes on to talk about the Midianites and all these other people, right? Understand, all is like I don't want to say earlier, there's 18 nations on this earth. 17 of them confederate against you.
God. hey, let me add, we can leave the Polynesians alone. Those Hawaiians, they ain't doing nothing.
They ain't really doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing nothing. Those would be the, understand is that according to the scriptures, that if you, what's that, 76, that Deuteronomy, is that 76?
We're above all people?
Yeah. So understand is that even though, the Polynesians ain't do nothing, and think about it, it ain't even named them. Right? Them people just want to be left alone. Leave them alone in Hawaii so they could go ahead and fish and do their thing.
That's right.
There you go.
Heavy.
But what I'm saying is that these other nations that decided to attack and oppress, right, with hard bondage, the Lord is going to avenge his people. The Lord is going to avenge his people. All you have to do as the Lord's people is follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? All you got to do is follow this book. God. And it's not the way, understand, is that you're following your pastor and having him allow you to believe certain silly things like Christ is God. Christ said multiple times that he is not the Most High God. It came out his own mouth. So whether you do, are you going to believe your pastor or are you going to believe Christ?
Mm.
You're going to believe your pastor or you're going to believe Christ? Nowhere in the Bible does it mention a holy trinity, right? You can't teach what's not in the Bible.
Yeah.
So Trinity is not in the Bible one time, right? The children of Israel, God said he loves the children of Israel. Christ said he come back to do what? For the lost sheep of the children of Israel, right? Understand is that black man, Native American man, Hispanic man, you are the lost sheep of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Damn right.
Right? And with you being the lost sheep of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Understand the scriptures say, oh, you are the only family that the Most High God is known. That's Amos 3:2. Amos 3:2. You're the only family that the Most High God is known, right? So guess what? Since you decide not to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Lord is going to punish you.
Yeah.
Just like your child being in your house, you're not going to beat them kids out in the street for selling dope, right? For going breaking windows and stuff like that, for doing whatever little mischief they do out there. But your kids, when they come back to the house, they get that ass tapped.
Wow.
What they call the belt to ass. You get the belt to ass.
Right.
Because you didn't follow the laws of the owner of the house, which is your father. So when you get back, right, even if he got to go out on the street to find you, because sometimes you'll do something bad and you won't want to come back. You'll go to grandma's house or somewhere. Daddy gonna come get you. And when Pops come get you, belt to ass.
Yeah. Shoot. Salagi, if I may, I think we absolutely killed that, and killed that point. I want to get through some more information if I could.
Come.
All right.
Has only 232.
Missing are chapters and verses that might have encouraged uprisings. Book of Exodus, redacted. No story of Moses demanding Pharaoh, let my people go. Gone is Galatians, and the verse, there is neither bond nor free, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And no Jeremiah, woe unto him that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
What they've left in are verses such as Ephesians 6:5, which is the famous verse, slaves be obedient to your master.
Looking at this Bible, it's hard to tell that anything's been taken out of it.
That's correct. I mean, it looks like a normal book. For many enslaved Africans, this would have been the first time they were exposed to the Bible.
You see what he said?
Mm-hmm.
Many of enslaved Africans, this would have been the first time they were introduced to the Bible. Now, picture you're a second-generation slave, third-generation slave, and this is the only book that you know.
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Yep, go ahead.
So, with some of our people still following the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Can we really take that Edomite's word when saying this is the first time? I understand this may be the first time they're seeing it as the Bible, but they still had the word of God. Some.
Yeah, I would say to that, and that's why I specifically said like second generation, third generation slaves.
Come on.
Because we know we had the book before colonization, before slavery. We know that there's different traces of of these records that we had. You know what I mean? Which leads into a good article that I can shed some light on that. Let me bring this up because that's an excellent point. Have you ever heard of for example, the Los Lunas stones?
Okay.
So the Los Lunas stones, for anyone who doesn't know, those were artifacts found, I think, what was that, in Ohio, of the 10 Commandments. These were artifacts that indigenous peoples had, before colonization. So, we had a remnant of you'll see a lot of remnant of our culture, especially more in indigenous people. You see they still got fringes to this day. You know what I mean? They had phylacteries all through their history, separation laws. When women are on their periods, they would separate. There were all different things that we had. You look at blacks that came over, that were brought over to America, right? You check those the slave ship records. They all had Hebrew names coming over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we had many traces of our history, but when you go on to second, third generation, fourth generation, look at us today. Look, that's why I say you see a black man today, and you even bring up the Old Testament, they're gonna say, I don't want to hear the Old Testament. Bring up the New Testament. Because we're so far removed from our culture. We're so far removed from this book. Their oppression and colonization that they did on us, it absolutely worked. You had a brother who only ever knew the slave Bible. Why do you think your auntie was, singing the book of Psalms every Sunday at church? Because that was the only book in the slave Bible. They have the book of Psalms in that slave Bible. And you sitting there to this day going to church every Sunday with your big ass hat, singing those hymns in the book of Psalms. You know what I mean? That is the what is it? The fruits, of what they did to us. And I'm gonna give you an example here. It was let me see where I had it. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find this. Just gotta search the page. Here we go. This is from a book called The Jesuits' Relations and Allied Documents, Travels, and Explorations of the Jesuit Missionaries in New France. Okay? So you had the Jesuits, they were recording all their missionaries when they're coming over to the Americas. And I'm going to show you one of the things that they say. Okay? It says, when I reached the cabins of the savages, I saw their place for drying eels. This work is done entirely by the women, who empty the fish and wash them very carefully. So these Europeans are speaking on what they're watching the indigenous people inside of Canada do. And they're saying the women are drying eels.
Now eels don't have scales.
Right. Now pick up on this. Eels are unlawful to eat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
These are Jesuit missionaries coming to Canada, and they're forcing Christianity on us. Okay. And let's check out what they say. It says they wash them very carefully, opening them up, not up the belly, up the back, and they hang them in the smoke. First, having suspended them upon poles outside their huts to drain, they gash them in a number of places in order that the smoke may dry them more easily. The quantity of eels that they catch in the season is incredible. I saw nothing else inside and outside of their cabins. They and the French eat them continually during this season. So now, wait a minute. It's not just the indigenous people eating the eels.
French
are eating the eels.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I saw nothing, or slag. It says, they and the French eat them continually during this season and keep a large quantity of them for the time when meat is not eaten. I mean the French, for the savages usually have no other meat than this until the snow is deep enough for moose hunting. So they're eating eels, and when the snow comes, they start eating moose. It says As I went about from hut to hut, a little boy about 12 years old came straight up to me. A few days before meeting him somewhere, I had given him a caress, as he seemed to me quite bright and modest. Having recognized me, he said, my brother, come, come. He conducted me to the hut of his parents, where I found an old woman who was his grandmother. Trying to get to the point where he said, here we go. He said, a woman, he said, I did not understand, and this good woman presented me with 4 smoked eels. I dared not refuse them for fear of making her angry. Now, why am I reading this? This is a Jesuit priest, okay? This is a man of God that they claim is a man of God who comes to Canada, and you can see he's calling them savages, calling us savages. And as he's calling us savages, one of the things he says is he sees we're eating eel. A woman comes up to him, offers him some eel. Now, if this is a man of God, Ahabawan, should he be eating that eel?
La.
Hell no.
If I may, sir.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
call them savages. When have you known a savage to feed anybody else except the savage? Right? The Bible says, and another thing, these is native to Canada. Another thing these natives did was they trusted their enemy. The Bible says never trust thy enemy.
Yeah.
Right? So they're breaking commandment after commandment after commandment. And this is why the Lord punished us.
That's right. Let me keep on going. He says, this is the same man speaking, okay? He says, I have become teacher in Canada. So now he's a self-proclaimed teacher. All right, he's a Jesuit missionary. He's coming to Canada, and he's recording his, what his interactions and what he sees. He says, the other day I had a little savage on one side of me, and a little Negro or more on the other, to whom I taught their letters. After so many years of teaching, behold me at last returned to the ABC with great content and satisfaction that I would not exchange my 2 pupils for the finest audience in France. This little savage is the one who will soon be left entirely with us. The little Negro was left by the English with his French family, which is here. We have taken him to teach and baptize. Now, he's telling you, we took this little Negro boy, and now I'm going to teach him. I'm going to get him baptized. We're going to get them right, Ahabawan. We're going to get these little Negro boys and savages in order. This was his mission. All right? He says, when we talked to him about baptism, he made us laugh. His mistress asking him if he wanted to be a Christian. Now, let me ask you something, Ahabawan. Do Catholics believe they are Christian?
Do Catholics believe that they're Christians?
Yeah.
Not at all.
No?
Well, I would say this. They don't. I'm not. How can I say this? They believe that they're Catholic. They don't believe that. They believe that Christian is is beneath them. Christianity is beneath Catholicism, but they follow the same practices.
Look, at this time, he's calling himself a Christian.
So I would have to say yes.
Yeah. At this time, right? He said, if he wanted to be baptized and be like us, he said yes. But he asked if he would not be skinned in being baptized.
You know why, right? I'm gonna tell you why, sir.
Go
You
ahead.
asked not to be skinned because you know when you cut yourself, you got that white.
That's
You
right.
get that white. So
That's
he believes that these people been skinned.
He does not want to look.
No,
You
I
thought
want to be white. That's
look,
what he's saying.
this is a priest calling us savages, and you have a 8-year-old boy asking this priest, "Do not skin me." How the these people think we're the savage?
Hey, sir, if I may,
God, go ahead.
if you read farther down, he's gonna say, "I must have my skin taken off in order to be like you."
That's right. We're gonna get to that. He says, "This is what the priest said. I think he was very much frightened. He's saying he thinks the little boy was frightened, for he had seen those poor savages' skin. Wait a minute, who was skinning the savages?
The Christians.
Who was skinning the native Indians in Canada?
The Christians.
The Christians. but where are the savages? He says, and God damn, this is I believe they said at this time he was a 6-year-old boy.
I think he was 6 or 8.
Yeah, let's say he was 8. 8-year-old boys are watching people be skinned alive. I keep going. He says, as he saw that they laughed at his question. So you're a priest of God and you're laughing at a 8-year-old boy that does not want to be skinned like the native Indians? This is a man of God, though. He says, he replied as best he could, "You say that by baptism I shall be like you. I am black and you are white. I must have my skin taken off then in order to be like you." Thereupon all began to laugh more than ever. And seeing that he was mistaken, he joined in and laughed with the others.
If I may, sir. Now, this is the little savage boy you're talking about, right?
This is a little Negro boy.
This is the Negro boy? I thought that was the savage boy that said he was talking to. You're right, the Negro boy left by the Englishman. All right.
Yep. He says, let's see. When I told him to take his blanket again, it's like he said, when I told him to take his blanket and return to his master, until he should understand our language better, he began to cry and refused to take his blanket again. I told him to go away to the fort with Father Des Noirs, who was going there. He obeyed, but he was restored on the way to his master, who cannot do long without him. So you're a grown white boy and you can't live without your 8-year-old servant. He says he obeyed, but he was restored on the way to his master, who cannot do long without him. Otherwise, we would have retained him with us. His mistress asking him why he had not brought back the blanket with him, he answered, me not baptized, no blanket. They said, come, baptize thee, and me not baptized, no return blanket. This little brother was saying, please, dear fucking God, do not baptize me.
He said, keep that goddamn blanket.
Do not baptize me. He's begging these white people who are so above us not to baptize him. He meant that we had promised him the baptism and that he did not wish to return until he had received it. That will be in a short time, if it please God. these white people think that it pleased God to force baptism on us. Grab that verse you had asked for earlier. It was let me see. I believe it was Luke 9:23.
Yeah, Luke 9:23.
Yeah, I think that one was straight to the point. If you could,
Yes, sir.
because this Jesuit missionary is sitting there saying, "If it please God, then I will baptize this little Negro boy."
You ready, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Luke chapter 9 and verse 23. And he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me.
Now, what Christ taught is that if a man wants to follow me, that's his decision to make.
What's so
His
heavy about that, sir? He said, if a man, this is a little 6-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy. He said, if a man wants to follow me, right? So understand these things you have to do, right? You have to you have to mature into a man.
Mhm.
Right? You have to mature into a man, right? These Catholics and Christians are taking advantage of children that don't understand, not just he don't understand what baptism is, he don't understand the language that they're coming from.
Right.
So he doesn't understand the language, he doesn't understand the narrative.
Yeah, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? Christ said, if a man choose to follow me, let him, he said, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Understand is that when we came into the ISUPK, we were men, right? We were, according to the world, we were already men, right? So our brains had already developed. We were no longer children, adolescents, or teenagers, right? Our brain had already developed for us to understand what we were getting ourselves involved in,
Right.
right? This little boy don't know what he getting himself involved in. He think that when he get baptized, he gonna get skinned. In order for him to look like the white man, he got to get skinned.
Right. Let me tell you
So
who the
in
good
his
side.
mindset, the Jesuits are going around skinning his people because they're trying to get them to look like them. That's his mindset. They're trying to get his people to look like them. So they skinning them. It just happens to unalive them because the process doesn't go correctly.
Let me read one more. I'm gonna try to go through this real quick.
Yes, sir. We're getting late.
Yep. This is the last paragraph I'll read here. It says,
Okay.
tomorrow on the 25th of August, I am to baptize a little Iroquois child who is to be taken to France. So now he's speaking about an indigenous child who is to be taken to France, never to return to this country. I don't even know if I need to read more.
Why is they? Never mind.
He's
That's
about to
transatlantic slave
baptize,
trade.
right? He's about to baptize an indigenous child who is never going to see Canada again. He's never going to see his family again. This is This is the representation of God. He says, "I have just baptized him. Emery Descamps is his godfather. Madame Coulard, daughter of Madame Hebert, his godmother. His name is Louis, and he was baptized in St. Louis Day." He changed this child's name. And what is this? St. Louis Day? Do you know what that is?
Saying what?
St. Louis Day? I think that might be a king.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm curious. I haven't heard of that before. It almost sounds like a king that they turned.
Might be like a king's birthday or something like that.
Right. He says, so he named this child after this person. It says, this poor little one who is only about 4 years old cried all the time before his baptism and ran away from us. I could not hold him. As soon as I began the ceremony, he did not say a word. He looked at me attentively and did everything that I would have him do. I believe that he was an Iroquois, but I have learned that he belongs to the Fire Nation. His father and his mother and he were taken in war by the Algonquins, who burned the parents and gave the child to the French.
Damn.
At the end, he says, the very humble and obedient servant in God, Paul Lejeune. Now, there's a lot more in that in those records, you know what I mean? But for the time, you know what I mean, we'll end there. So this devil right here, forcing baptism on a 4-year-old child, getting ready to send him off to never see his family again. And what doesn't it say that in Deuteronomy that we would be sold to our enemies and
Yes,
no
sir.
man would buy us?
No man.
4 years old.
Hey, sir, before we roll, I got that St. Louis Day.
Yeah, I'm curious what that is.
It says St. Louis Day, or the Feast of St. Louis, falls on August 25th in honor King Louis IV of France.
King,
That's
that's
from
what it says.
1214 to 1270. Known as the patron saint of the city of St. Louis, Missouri, he was a devout Catholic monarchy celebrated for his pity, justice, and charity.
Mm. Yeah, I'm sure he was a man of God too, Abawa.
Yeah, that nigga wasn't no man. Who else we got in here? We got UPK Adam. Yeah, out of Greensville, South Carolina. Hey, how far are you from Somerville? I'm in Somerville, South Carolina right now. How far are you from there? We might have to hook up.
Yeah, put that in the chat, Adam. I think I see that brother on Facebook as well.
Y'all see him? I don't have him on Facebook. I have to find him on Facebook.
Yeah, that'd be a good brother to link up with. I believe I see him on the Facebook. But you know, just to because we're getting over the time, and this is something, you know, for Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous to think about. We'll have this here. Let me read this one last thing. This was just from a quick Pew Research Center. It says Catholics continue to be the largest religious group in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and Peru. Despite declining as a share of these countries' adult populations over the past decade, today Catholics make up between 46 and 67% of adults in the 6 Latin American countries surveyed. That's just our Hispanic brothers. That's not speaking on our indigenous brothers and our black black brothers and sisters. We are still Christian inside of this place, Arbor.
Yes, sir.
You had a 4-year-old brother running away from these goddamn devils who are trying to force us to become Christian.
The little 4-year-old was smarter than some of these adults.
A lot.
He knew to get the hell away from them.
Just like that brother as well. That brother is sitting there crying, saying, please do not baptize me.
He said, don't skin me.
You don't want to get scared. That's all he's thinking. You know, he can't understand the language. He's just looking at what these goddamn savages are doing to natives. Watching these savages skin us alive. Like you said, just what, to make our skin look white?
Mm-hmm.
And you look into why these missionaries called us savages, it's because they would see us do things like scalp our enemies. They said they never seen a people so savage, when they're fighting them in war. You can look up the tribe of Gad scalping people from 5,000 years ago. That is a skill. That is a talent to be able to take the scalp off a man with head with a knife
and keep him alive.
And keep him alive. Look, man, these are the real savages, and they force Christianity down our throat. And we really got to ask ourselves as a people, why do we still accept this slave religion that was forced on our ancestors?
Damn right.
Baruch, excellent prophet, said, hear the prayers of the dead Israelites. You think these brothers and sisters that were unalived in the name of Christianity would be happy seeing their great-grandchildren become Christian? Hell no.
I will have to say la'ah.
La'ah. You know what I mean? So with that, we're over the time. Anything you want to add, Ahabawan?
No, sir.
All right, Most High in Christ. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohana. This class was taught by myself, Officer of 1,000 Shariwan. And I got with me the mighty priest, Officer 500 Ahabawan. Check out our classes every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. All right. And check out Blackwatch. Blackwatch should be live right now. All right. Check out Commanding General Yohana. All right. All the heavy hitters, the generals doing their thing every Monday night. Check out Blackwatch. All right. With that, we say shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
Everyone west. Everyone west. Everyone west.